Good evening, BookTube. How you doing? This is Johnny. Before I came to make this video, I was thinking I should break my routine. I have this little spiel I do every time I do a video, and I say, "This is Johnny," and I tell you the time. It's 8:18 at night here in West Michigan. It is a Monday. It is January the 22nd, and it's a nighttime. It's raining, and I thought to myself, should I keep repeating myself this kind of spiel? It's kind of like, so I'm asking my viewers, what would you like? Do you get bored with me always opening up the video with the same kind of little spiel, the date, the time, the weather, where I'm at in my 2018 diary? Like today I ended on page 54, so tomorrow on January the 23rd, 2018, I'll be on page 55. Is that important to you? Well, you just want me to get right to the books. Do you want me to just talk about books? I think about that because I'm always talking to my wife about what I'm reading, and I could do the same thing in this video, in my videos in BookTube. I could just immediately say, well, this is what I'm reading, and this is what I read today, and this is what I think, and this is just do it the way I do it. Like I said, I'm not polished. I kind of have my own way of. It's like I'm flinging shit, to use an expression, and but I always tell my wife what I'm reading because there's nobody else to talk to. Our dog died last year in July. He died of cancer, and I used to talk to our dog all the time, but now that he has gone to dog heaven, there's nobody to talk to except BookTube, or in my online diaries, or in my paper diary, or into the world of BookTube, about what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, what I'm reading, what I'm going through, my ups and downs, my jubilations and my humiliations, and my highs and my lows. So I don't know. So tell me what you think, because I think when I started doing BookTube, doing this channel, I was thinking of it being the format, the diary of a book collector, the diary of a Christian bookworm. And I've been writing for so many years in diary form since I was in high school. I've always sat down every single day. This is the day, this is the time, this is the weather. That I'm just repeating the same thing in my online diaries, and then now I'm doing it in BookTube. I'm following the same pattern. I'm going to be 66 years old this year, and it's kind of hard to, what's the saying, you can't treat an old dog new tricks? So I don't know. But we're here to talk about books. Well, a word keeps coming to my mind about where I'm at right now in my reading kind of state. It's called saturation. I was thinking about that because we have been having rain start last night and today, and the ground is saturated. And so there's a lot of flooding, and the ground is just saturated. And that's what I am. I'm kind of saturated. I get that. I'll read a ton of stuff, and then all of a sudden I can't get any more into my brain. I'm kind of saturated. It's like I have to just not read as much. Now, I'm always reading, but not as intensely or all the time. And when I'm not reading all the time, like I'm always reading in the mornings. I always try to read something in the mornings. Like I'm still reading Gregory the Great, The Moral Reflections on the Book of Job, Volume 4, books 17 to 22. I've read 231 pages out of this. I'm in book 20, and I've mentioned I've read these over the years. This is volume 1 of the More Reflections of the Book of Job. preface, books 1 through 5. This was translated. This is by Gregory the Great, and this was written way back in the, I think, in the 5th century, if I remember correctly. And yeah, Gregory the Great was a pope from 590 to 604. A time of great turmoil in Italy and the Western Roman Empire, generally because of the barbarian invasions. Gregory's experience as a pope or perfect of the city of Rome, and as a, I don't know what that word is, a Pope Pelagius fitted him admirably for the new challenges of the papacy. The moral reflections of the Book of Job were first given to the monks who accompanied Gregory to the embassy in Constantinople. This first volume, as the work contains preface, books 1 through 5, accompanied by an introduction by Mark Dalcanlino. So anyway, I've been getting these over a number of years. I've mentioned that in previous videos. This volume came out in 2014. Volume 2, books 6 through 10, The More Reflections of Gregory the Great, translated out of Latin by Brian Kerns. This one came out in 2015. Volume 3, books 11 through 16, came out in 2016. So they've been coming out every year, and I get them in the mail. I have an order with them when they come out to automatically send them to me. So I've been reading those. So I am reading something. Even though I'm saturated in the mornings, I try to read a little bit. One thing about reading Gregory the Great, when you read him, it's kind of lectio divina. You can read a little bit, a paragraph or a page, and he quotes the scriptures. He interprets scripture by scripture, and you can just meditate upon it. You can just read a couple of pages, and it gives you food for thought, things to ponder, things to pray about, things to meditate upon throughout the morning and into the afternoon and evening hours. So I am reading that. That's about it. And of course, I read the Bible because, like, we're going through Job, and like in the book of Job is in the Old Testament, and we're in chapter 30. And I think I read the first 8 verses of chapter 30 of Job. The verse 8, they were sons of fools, yes, sons of vile men. They were scourged from the land. So and then the afternoons, in my saturated state, all I can really read is this, my newest book by Nell Ferguson, The Square and the Tower, Networks and Power from the Freemasons to Facebook. Now this book, I just read it slowly in the afternoons. Like I said, I really can't read a lot, because even though I'm not reading a book, I'm always on the internet reading book reviews. I'm watching booktubers. I look things up in Amazon. We got a Sunday newspaper yesterday in the New York Times. I read that today, the New York book reviews. So yeah, so I'm always reading, but not as intensely or as deeply or as exhaustively as I would normally do. And plus, I'm writing all day long. I write in the mornings, I write in the late mornings, I write in the afternoons. I'm writing throughout the day, whatever comes to my mind about my day-to-day existence here on earth. My sojourn in the wasteland, in the wilderness. Now today I did order the 5th volume. I've shown the works of William Perkins, who was a 17th century English Puritan theologian and pastor. Volume 5 of the works of William Perkins came in today. There in Grand Rapids at Reform Heritage Books. And I ordered it. I'm getting it in the mail. Volume 5 deals with the whole set. When it comes out would be 10 volumes. Volume 5 that's coming out is Doctrinal and Polemical Works. Volume 5, The Foundation of Christian Religion. Exposition of the Apostles' Creed. Exposition of the Lord's Prayer. So I get that. I already have volumes 1, volumes 2, volumes 3 and volumes 4. So, this is a lot of reading. This is on my study desk. So, I got Gregory the Great to read, and I got William Perkins to read in the mornings, and so in the afternoons I can read this book, The Square and the Tower. Now, this afternoon I got kind of adventurous, and even though it was misty out and raining and gray and ugly, I went to a Goodwill and to a thrift store just to look around because I hadn't been out of the house since last week. And I won't show everything, but I did find this book by Mary Gordon. Mary Gordon is she's a fiction writer, short stories. She's written essays. But this is a book I found today. This is The Rest of Life, 3 novellas. I also have her novel, The Love of My Youth by Mary Gordon, a novel. And these are the stories of Mary Gordon. And this is her novel, Spending. I bought this at a used bookstore in Grand Rapids a couple of years ago. I'm always looking for her writings. And then I found this at a thrift store, her novel, Pearl. I really recommend her writings if you like good literary fiction. And I've read great reviews, I've read short stories. So I was really pleased to find another volume of her writings for my Mary Gordon collection. So that's it in the book world. And like I said, this is a Monday night. Like I said, I'm saturated. I'm kind of like... Sometimes when I'm saturated, I'll read mysticism, mystical theology. I'll read St. John the Cross, The Dark Knight, or the Carthusians, or I'll just go through the day sitting. Like I did a lot of sitting today, praying and meditating. And I like to watch the birds by the bird feeder, and I like to open the windows and look out and watch the rain. And my wife is a night nurse, so she sleeps all day. She comes home in the morning and she sleeps all day, and she gets up around 6:30 and I take her to work. So it's quiet around the house. I can sit and just chill and just be in the presence of God. So I thought this is what is in my book world. Like I said, Mary Gordon, pick her up. Read Gregory the Great. If you're into 17th century English Puritan theology, you can't go reading. He is William Perkins is the father of English Puritanism. So I was really excited when they started publishing his works. I've been into Puritan literature I've been a Christian going on 48 years. I've been reading the Puritans for 35 years. I started reading the Puritans around 1975. And so yeah, it's probably been a long time. Of course, I studied the Puritans when I was in Bible college and seminary, and I read the Puritans, I read the Puritans, I still do, not as much as I did when I was teaching adult Sunday school, when I was in seminary and Bible college. Now I read more all over the place because I have more time. When I was working and raising our kids and involved in church life, I didn't have much time like I do now. Now I have time to read systematic theology, biblical commentaries, Gregory the Great. I can read books on abstract art, or read a novel by Mary Gordon, or read things like this, The Square and the Tower. I can just read medieval literature, or the Church Fathers, or John Calvin. I can just read anything I want because I'm not working, I'm retired. Our kids have grown up, gotten married, and having kids and having careers. So I'm free to just live the life of a contemplative hermit. So I thought I'd make this video. I'm hoping you had a good weekend, you have a good week. Thank you for the new subscribers. Feel free to comment, ask me questions, and what you would like in my videos. If you want me to keep doing what I'm doing, just tell me. I'm not saying I can do it. Like I said, I'm a creature of habit. I've been doing the same thing for so many years that that's why I consider myself a writer, but I'm a diary writer. I think as a diary. I mean, I live like a diary. I mean, it's kind of hard to break the habit. So, but I don't see anybody on BookTube doing what I'm doing as far as, well, this is what I'm reading. This is my diary. Today is January the 22nd. It is a Monday. It is 8:34 at night here in West Michigan. It's raining, and I am going to close now to read, to sit in the dark, maybe listen to some death metal, or just sit in silence and listen to the rainfall. So I hope you're having a good night and a good week. Until next time, bye.